Baby number 4.
Baby number 4. Have babies.
What?
Have a million kids. Kids come up to me and they're like, what's your advice? I'm like, have millions of kids. Repopulate the country.
Give me the age range right now.
There's 4 kids under 4. I am expecting my 4th in a month.
You don't even know the ages. You have so many now that you're forgetting.
So I have a 4-year-old, I have a 2-year-old, and I have a 15-month-old.
And then number 4 is due.
So 1 kid every year, because my wife's 100% Irish.
Your wife is a saint.
She's just Irish.
Is what she is.
Okay.
But this was the plan. Did you always want this many?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because parenthood is something. Well, I mean, listen, I got started a little late. I don't know. When did you have your kids?
I had them at 29, 31, and 33.
Similar ages, right?
Yeah.
You can't have 20 kids at that age unless you're Elon Musk. If you're the richest man in the world, you don't have to be team pullout at all. Like you can have like 20. He has like 20 kids. All right. I was talking about his business ventures.
Right.
I wasn't talking about
obviously.
No, sorry. He when he commands a business, he doesn't. Anyway, the point is that kids humble you as a man.
Yes.
It makes you realize that you should live for something other than yourself, because men are selfish by nature. We are designed to be protectors. So now, I'm not a violent man, okay? But somebody steps to my home, you're gonna die.
Absolutely.
You're gonna die. We have gun sponsors on the show, and they're all over the house. So you're gonna die in safe locations. Like, I'm now a protector. I feel that desire, and I'm not lost in like bizarro world video games or anything like that, smoking weed or just like stuff that doesn't matter. You are like locked in with your kids. Like, you hear your little daughters say daddy, daddy, and run to you when you come home. I get emotional just thinking about it. And you're like, man, that's what the fabric of the universe is made out of. And I know you know that, right? Because you have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids, but as a 52-year-old woman, I'm still a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And that's because at that time, the ages of your kids, my dad did what you're doing for yours. And so I know you already know this, but just know that it is obviously the best investment. And my dad is my guy for life. So I know it's hard because you're trying to balance 65,000 different things now, but you're doing it. And the fact that you know the importance is just, this is a real man.
Can I ask you some advice?
Yeah.
How do I get the relationship that you have with your father? Because you're father maxing. Okay, you father maxing. You're posting about your dad all the time. It's one of the most beautiful things ever. A lot of people post about their kids, but few people post about your father, who I don't know how old he is, but like he's a grandfather now, right?
Yes.
Few people do that and like show such respect. It's like the dream of any dad. Taking a step back, you talk to billionaires, all they really want is time with their kids.
That's all they want.
You talk to these guys, they got the G-Wagon, they got all the money in the world, they're sitting on Palm Beach Island, and they're like, I wish I had more time with my kids. I wish my kids wanted to see me and bring me to UFC, right? That's what they say. All the money in the world, set it on fire like the Joker. They say, I want a daughter who wants to spend time with me voluntarily, actually. How did your dad get that with you? Because I have daughters, and that's my number 1 goal on earth.
Yes, I just love that this is your question, because this is what really matters. He just was there. He was present. He made sacrifices. With no money, he was an Army officer for 23 years. I think his top salary in the mid-'80s with the interest rates at 16.5% was like 60 grand with 3 kids. Nothing. And every moment he had, he was with us. I'm the only girl because I'm then the favorite, obviously, because it's my brothers and me.
Of how many?
2 younger brothers. I'm the best. I'm the favorite. I'm the favorite child. But honestly, he also pushed me and he challenged me. And I was not spoiled in that way. And he called me out on things. And then throughout my broadcasting career, he's like, liked this. What did you mean to say here on ESPN, whatever it was? So it's a true relationship with constructive criticism and always love. And I get emotional too because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have the time, but he made the time. And I'm forever grateful. I'm divorced now, single, I'm 52. I don't know what's next. I think I might have found my person. But the point is, I know, this is a whole story.
Is this some hot tea here? Hold on.
I haven't talked about
spill
this
the
yet.
tea?
No, I'll tell you off camera because I'm going to blush. Okay, but the point is,
Is it Elon? You can tell me, okay? It's fine. There's not many thousands of people watching right now.
Nobody's watching.
Okay.
I made a change. This is super deep. We need more than 10 minutes. I made a change in my life because I knew it wasn't what my dad gave to my mom. And I knew I had to change, even though I'm Catholic, and this is not what you're supposed to do but I knew. And also as a mother, if you're preaching to your children to do things a certain way, whether it's a relationship or to not stay quiet when you're being forced to get a vaccine, you have to practice what you preach. So it took me a little longer than I realized, than I would want, I guess, to not be afraid to do those things. And the faith has saved me, but my dad encouraged me. It's like, we're going to make mistakes. And my mother is probably the unsung hero in all of this. You know, he's the colonel, she's the general, she's in charge, but this is not about me. I love what you're doing with all of your kids, with your wife. You are a real man. And obviously, I think that's been a hot issue where, dude, get the betas out of my face.
Yeah, that's right.
Enough.
Too many microplastics in our balls.
I don't understand it. Get them out. Chop them off.
I'm not trying to do
Grow
like,
new
it's literally
ones.
scientifically. There's little studies that prove that. Like,
Yes,
yeah, no,
yes.
RFK's onto something. Also, who wants to look like RFK when they're 70? Yo, that dude's like out there working out, like on Venice Beach
At 70.
in jeans.
Yes.
In jeans.
How about the waist?
Yo.
Why don't you show us, Benny?
Oh no.
I mean, just real quick.
No, I cannot.
No one's watching, remember?
I cannot, because they would be finding a new Pillsbury Doughboy mascot. I would get an immediate hire as the Michelin Man.
Not true.
Yeah,
Not true.
it's true. So, okay, listen.
Okay, so anyway, this is not
really
about
fast.
me.
No,
No.
really fast. I have to ask, because you did the bravest thing I've ever seen in corporate media, which is to go against the vax mandates, and you did it publicly. A lot of people did it quietly, or like really upset quietly, and they weren't allowed to say anything. You did it publicly. Your relationship with your father inspired that. You just said that.
It did, with my parents, and this too. The cadet prayer at West Point, I used it in my speech here yesterday. I've lived it my entire life because my dad made us memorize the damn thing when we were kids. Help us to choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong, and never to be content with a half-truth when the whole can be won. The harder right sucks. It is scary, it's expensive, it's all of the things, but we know what it is. And at the end of the day, whether it was with my personal life or with going up against Disney, David versus Goliath, like, I'm still shaking over it. It was the right thing. And if I am going to waste this platform, shame on me. Whatever small platform I had at ESPN as a sportscaster, like, that's not how he raised me. So it's been super scary. But I know that no matter what happens, it was the right thing for many other people who don't have the platforms. That's why I feel like, isn't that what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing as well, besides your children? Like, you know that you have the ears of millions now. I think it's God, right? Like, it is such a blessing to have. When did you know you had to go all in on this?
Having children changed everything for me. It makes you not a selfish man. You must live for someone else. And then you also begin to appreciate more the miracles in life, right? Like, for instance, we're alive and we can have this conversation. Most people that have lived are not alive right now, okay? We can have this conversation and we can affect the future. So many men look back into the past, and I think it's important to study Rome, and it's important to study World War II history and everything. But like, we get an opportunity to create the future, this like really small, finite opportunity. And we're in it right now. And so you got to flow state with that. And then you got to accept one absolute truth, which I believe as a Christian and as a believer, which is that Donald Trump missing a bullet is the most viewed miracle by God in human history. Because when Christ was doing his miracles, and those miracles I believe in with my whole heart, we just didn't have YouTube, Like, it couldn't, like, this was the most viewed miracle ever, and billions of people saw Donald Trump's life get spared. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact, I can't name names, that is saving people.
Yes.
Famous, rich people that are proud atheists and agnostics are like being radicalized by that. And President Trump is actually, I've heard these stories directly from the individuals. President Trump is witnessing to people because of that miracle, because of God saving his life. God had something more planned for me, says President Trump. So when you're in that flow state and having a child, you accept the reality of God because life is so miraculous. And so it's such a miracle to hold your newborn baby. It's like like heaven opened up and delivered you an angel, right? And it's the only time that is permissible for a man to cry. That's it. There's one time for holding your newborn child, and I did it with every one of my kids, and I plan on doing it in a month. You lock in and you realize, like, wow, something else really powerful is going on here.
And he has spoken so much more about his faith since then.
Dude, it's incredible. It's incredible. So it's like we witnessed It's amazing. We'll tell all of our grandkids about this.
I know.
Like, I saw it happen. Where were you when you heard Trump was shot?
I was sitting on my couch and watching.
This couch?
Not this one. I rented this yesterday, and I'm sending it back tomorrow. I really like the couch, though. I think I should take it with me. I cried. And even after I knew he was alive, I cried because it's like, this is how low we have sunk, how low the hatred. And then, of course, you're like, wait, immediately, as a journalist, how the hell did that, how was that allowed? And of course, to me, I don't know that we'll ever fully know the truth, but I think deep down, we know the truth. But you're right. I saw a change 2 days later, and I don't know him like you know him. 2 days later, he's in Milwaukee for the RNC. Is that where it was? Milwaukee. Watching his granddaughter, Kai, on stage speak about him, to me, I changed. I went deeper on my love for him, forgive me, because of how he looked when he was watching her. They don't want to know the human side of that man. They refuse to get that out. That's who he is. That's who he talks to more than anybody on the planet, is his granddaughter, Kai, right? I believe that, and I felt it here with 20,000 strong. I mean, God bless Charlie Kirk and that young man and what he has done. But the peace that is within this convention center in Phoenix, the smiles, the joy, there's some joy here. There's some joy. It's different. I feel like this weight has been lifted, and I hope that you can pat yourself on the back every once in a while, because you're a massive part of saving this country. Do you acknowledge that?
So America First means, to me, leaving a country that is not totally destroyed, not a third world nation for my children. My children are Americans. They were born here, so they have a birthright.
Yes.
And so my American children, I will leave an America for that is stronger and better than I found it. That's what a moral generation does. Mm-hmm. That's what a just generation does. And a cursed generation destroys the nation.
Yes.
And leaves their children nothing. And so I view our work in this movement and all of it as simply a gift to my children.
Do you acknowledge how much your courage and conviction has helped?
I'll be able to say when I'm in the Joe Biden state, okay? When someone's pushing me around in the Joe Biden wheelchair, okay, because that'll happen. When I'm like 80, 90, whatever. I'll get every Neuralink, that Elon can give me.
Yeah.
But God's gonna, time's gonna take its toll. So I'll be in the Joe Biden state, and I'll look in the mirror, and I'll confidently say I did everything I possibly could to save this country for my kids. And so I'll be very proud of that. I'll be proud of it. I'll say, like, when the time came, I didn't shy away. We were on the field. And we actually played a note in the saving of Western civilization, and that'll be the greatest. That'll be the greatest joy of my life.
And
actually,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put you on the spot like, oh, I'm great, but I just think that
that's my motivation.
I witnessed it, and what it also did, maybe quietly in many ways, is it inspired others to not be afraid and to do their research and look a little bit deeper at the why, and how, God forbid the facts, because they weren't getting it from the mainstream media. But you literally were such a massive part, and I'm just grateful. Because you didn't have to. In your mind, you did, for your kids and for your family. But there's millions who you will never meet, and you change them. And I think that you're right. If we don't, what a waste.
Totally. Someday, I'll actually have the kind of balls and backbone that Sage Steele has and fight Disney as like a one-woman warrior, okay? As literal one. Well, someday. Until then, I'll just keep disliking the Snow White trailers. That's my fight against Disney. Okay,
too,
I'll continue to dislike Snow Woke.
Okay, please.
Okay, that's my personal fight against Disney. All right,
I
you actually fought
appreciate
Disney.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right? My last question is going for. I know. I still can't believe it. Listen, I always think there's a
Dude, that Snow White movie's gonna suck.
The worst. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's spending any money on that? I keep thinking Bob Iger is going to reach up and choke me out for that whole thing. What is we won, the good guys won, there's hope, there's all those things. What is your biggest concern over the next 4 years of what Donald Trump and company and this amazing team he's putting together has to get done to ensure that we're good going forward?
Yes. There are so many systems of rotten corruption in our nation's capital. You've seen them. They flow through the corporate media. They have been built for generations. It's going to take a long time to deconstruct that machine. And so we have to start right away. And then we have to continue. And luckily, there are so many based parents. We don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about this enough. Okay, here's my great hope and why I think the machine can be defeated. Donald Trump has chosen to be a bridge. Whereas the Mitch McConnells and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Joe Bidens burned the bridges to get theirs, right? Donald Trump is a bridge to J.D. Vance. He's a bridge to Vivek. He's a bridge to the younger generation. Even Tucker's like 20 years younger than Trump, right?
Yeah.
So he's a bridge to those other generations. And to me, Vivek's my age. Same with JD. He's a bridge to us. And Trump's actually giving power to us in this moment. Trump's got one term. Trump ran in order to hand that power off to us. And it's so freaking awesome. And no president's ever done anything like that before, right? Like Reagan handed it off to George W. Bush. No, dude. Trump is going to Trump's setting up the next generation to be millennial leader. They'll be the first millennial presidents. Trump's going to skip, right, that entire burn it down, salt the earth generation, which is all McConnell and all Pelosi's ever done, to their great and eternal shame. They've left people nothing. They've cursed their children and grandchildren. They've left us nothing. And Trump is actually building a bridge to the next generation. We don't talk about that enough.
We don't.
And what a selfless and incredible act that is. Look at the people around Trump. Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan, all the Nelk Boy podcasts, all these young guys that Trump's reaching, Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is Gen Z streamer, right?
Yes.
It's you're talking generations in between Trump and Aiden Ross. And Trump's out there dancing in a Cybertruck with Aiden.
Yes.
That's so dope. And nobody's ever done that before.
He listened to his son. He listened to Barron a lot for that, didn't he?
Yeah. And so that is so encouraging. And finally, he's choosing parents. Vivek's got kids. JD's got kids. He's staffing out with parents who have actual skin in the game.
Yes.
Dirt on their face, touching grass, these parents are. To save the country. It's the best motivation to have kids and to have a relationship that you have with your dad, that your kids have with you. That's the best motivation on earth. That's how you save America.
It has been beautiful to watch, and it's obviously so strategic. And it looks like, this. No, he's had 4 years to plan all this out. And it's the deepest bench, especially in the Republican Party, which has never seemed to be proactive. And all of a sudden, this could go on. Hopefully, it doesn't end. Hopefully, we've turned that corner. It just took us getting on the brink of disaster. Thank God. You have somewhere to be a labor delivery room in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
I mean, congratulations. And it's true. Listen, I'm too old. It's all dried up. I can't have any more babies. That's a bad graphic. I'm sorry. But in general.
Due date's Inauguration Day. The due date's Inauguration Day. January 20th is the due date. So maybe we'll have an inauguration baby. I don't know.
You can plan that. You can coerce the doctors to make that happen, You got some power, Benny.
We're excited about
Thank you. Thank you for being you. I'm serious. It has inspired me and so many others. The best energy in the room. Love you. Thank you.
I love you. Amazing. Oh, man.